Hey guys, how are you? Welcome. So nice to see you today. Today is a really wild day for me because I am moving today into my Manhattan apartment, which I'm really, really excited about because it's the first time as a New Yorker that I've ever lived in Manhattan, which is crazy and huge. And as you can imagine, was a bucket list goal of mine that I didn't even realize was a goal of mine until I got here. I guess that's interesting, but okay, I have little notes here that I wanted to keep me on track. I think if I sit the other way, we'll have a better lighting situation. Can you grab this and carry it over to the other side for me? So I'm gonna come over here because I think that the light might be better if I'm sitting this way. And actually it's far worse, so there's that. Good for me. All right, y'all. Can everybody see me? Cool. Okay, so it's way worse now, but I'm doing my best over here. Okay, that's better, I guess. Good. Something plugged in here. Okay, so welcome. Yeah, so today is a big day for me. I'm moving into my apartment, which is why I had to move our chat forward a little bit because at 2 o'clock today, I don't know exactly where I'll be or where we'll be at in the move. But it really brought me to wanting to talk to you guys a lot about manifestation, which of course is our theme for the month. If you haven't read the theme yet, after this, make sure to go and tap into it. I don't know if you guys remember, but every November, I go into the same period where I start focusing on the next season and the next season and creation for what I want to create. So it's interesting. I was on the phone with somebody the other day that I'm mentoring, and I said something out loud that I'd never said before, that I'd always known to be true, but I've never said it out loud, and therefore I've never taught it. But I realized that I've been thinking a lot about New Year's Eve resolutions and why those resolutions tend to fail people sometimes. And I realized that I have this understanding and this consciousness that 1/1 is actually the closing of the energetic portal for creation, not the beginning of the portal. The portal actually opened on 11/1. So to me, my understanding and how I've always moved through life, even before I knew I was doing it, is that 11/1, I would start setting the resolutions and the intentions and the creations and what do I want to manifest. And by New Year's Eve, they'd be locked in stone. So imagine the mistake of making those resolutions on the 1st, right as the window is closing, right? Now I have a couple of months to get out of the way of it and to get out ahead of it and actually create it. That way by 1/1, when that new year ticks and I get that burst of emotion and, forward energy and collective energy moving me forward towards the goal, I've already done all the other work to calibrate vibrationally so I can harness the portal energy, right? When you think about a portal, like the one that comes on 11/11 and 1/1 it's the same, right? It's a master number portal. It's like a zoom. So you have to be ready to put your foot on the gas, which means that things must have been being put into place and the seeds must have been planted far before the portal actually comes to pass, right? So it's kind of interesting. I didn't notice that I knew that or that I moved in that way. And honestly, I haven't even looked it up, so I don't know if anybody else agrees with me. But for me, that's the truth, and it always has been. I get weird in November. I don't know if anybody else gets weird in November, but it's the weirdest month of the year for me. It's a lot of introspection and a lot of thought. And I get a lot of kind of bipolar energy in November, where I'm some days I'm just very sleepy and burnt out. And then other days I'm buzzing with this excitement of ooh, something's right around the corner. And they kind of ebb and flow in this way. And so it's just always been that kind of month for me. And now in putting thought into it so I can teach these concepts, I've realized that that's really what it is, right? It's the planting of the seeds, which is difficult work, right? When you start to plant the seeds of your desire before you create a manifestation, you're having to sift through a lot of contrast, right? So you live in a dual universe. You're being offered contrast all the time, what you want versus what you don't want, right? And this is kind of an assault on the system, right? And your body, if you get out of the way of it, is naturally siphoning, ooh, these things make me feel good, happy, positive, joyful, aligned. And these things make me feel dense, heavy, resistant. And your body's kind of separating them, right? And so in the moments of selecting the seeds to plant, you're having to do a lot of work to either consciously get out of the way of it, which is the truth for most of us, right? If you're still deep in the program, then the majority of the work you're doing in these phases of your life is moving out of the way. Stop offering resistance. Stop, beating the shit out of yourself and putting all the negativity and density into the environment. That's most of your responsibility, right? The responsibility to add positive or to, add more momentum with forward moving thoughts or powerful creation techniques and rituals. That's kind of step 2. Once you've gotten out of the way of it, right? Step 1 is the harder step, but it must be the preliminary step. Some people will say, oh, I sat in meditation and nothing happened. And I'm like, well, something happened. Not nothing, something happened, right? And most likely what happened is that you just beat the shit out of yourself with negative thoughts through the whole time that you meditated, because you haven't learned how to get out of the way of it yet. You haven't learned how to silence it yet. So in saying all this, basically, I wanted to make you conscious of the power of your thoughts in this month and the power of your desires in this month. You are planting the seeds, and over the next 2 months, these seeds are going to begin to sprout and take hold in your life. And, I was teaching somebody about manifestation the other day who had never really been exposed to it. And she was like, well, I'm not a good manifester. I don't know how to manifest anything. And, I said to her what I say to you guys all the time, which is you're always manifesting things. The art of manifestation is who you are as a soul on the planet. You are a creator. You were brought to this time, space, reality at this time as a creator. You are always creating your external. Now, this gets to be a difficult conversation for people, and we've talked about this many times, because people say, well, if my circumstances aren't ones that I would favor, then why would I be choosing them? And that's where we say, well, it's not an attack. It's not a blame game. It's just saying that it's likely that you have not been a conscious, deliberate creator, meaning you didn't necessarily do it on purpose, but you still probably did it, right? Either by focusing on things you didn't want or getting trapped in somebody else's creation, right? These are risks that you run when you're not in your power. You can easily become a pawn in somebody else's desire or game, or you could be offering more resistance than flow. And if you're living in our society on this planet, not even in any specific culture, just on the planet, if you're living in society with other human beings, you're probably being introduced to far more resistant thoughts than positive flow state thoughts, because that's the way the collective is programmed to move and think. So, and another thing, just to also, I say it all the time, but I'll say it again. When we start talking about how you create your circumstances and create your environment, we are speaking with the exception of situations of abuse. We don't, everything, people say, how come there's an exception for that? Everything in nature has an exception, everything. Even right now, I'm on the East Coast in November and the weather's in the 70s. This is an exception. This is not the standard way that things normally move, right? So great evil, the type of negativity or darkness that is involved in abuse of any sort, is the exception to the energetic rules. Yeah, it defies the laws that I'm speaking about, because I'm speaking more from a light perspective about conscious creation, about this more standard circumstances in your environment. So again, when I'm speaking about it, please do not blanket statement it over things that have been abusive to you or traumatic to you in the past. It doesn't necessarily carry.
This handle feels loose again.
Does the handle feel loose?
What? Dana.
Yeah, hi. You unmuted yourself and yelled about the handle.
Hi, guys. All right, I'm muting myself now. Shh, I'm listening.
Tighten up that handle.
My faucet, my sink faucet is loose.
That's not good.
Love you.
Love you. It's chaotic. But anyway, so she'll work on that faucet and we'll move forward. So the other thing, so I wanted to talk to you guys about some of this stuff and how it's playing a role in my life and where it's going and how it works for me, because sometimes I think that's really the best way to teach you. So today, as I said, I'm moving forward into a phenomenally large manifestation, one that has been working against me, offering resistance to this creation probably since I was born, right? I've lived in New York and I've never heard anything other than it's expensive and near impossible to find a place and difficult to live there, and really only very wealthy people live there, and really like it's people that like own businesses or companies or do stocks or whatever it is, and very exclusive talk, right? Like resistant talk. And now since I've said I was moving here, literally probably 1,000 people have been like, it's so expensive, you're never going to find a place, it's so expensive, it's outrageously expensive. And I'm hearing this all the time, and at times I'm mimicking it back like a parrot. It's expensive, yeah, it is really expensive, it's crazy expensive. And in my brain I'm like, shut up, like, girl, shut up. These thoughts are not serving you in any way, shape, or form. They're offering more resistance, right? Is that what you want? Do you want it to be expensive here? If it isn't, then shut up, get out of the way of it and stop offering resistance to it, right? So basically, all of this chaos, all of this conflicting and contradictory information that I have about New York has worked against me in finding an apartment, right? It's been difficult because I have all of these beliefs that it's difficult to get an apartment. And so I felt that difficulty for a while. And so, I mean, it got to the point where we were like, 4 days ago, our apartment in Jersey, we stayed I'll just give you a little backstory. We're in an Airbnb in New Jersey. We stayed here for a month because we wanted to get closer to Manhattan so that we could find a place in Manhattan from here, not like from the internet in California. And we have cars and we had a lot of stuff. So we wanted to like get settled in and make a better plan before we moved into the actual city. So that's what we're doing here. Our lease here in Jersey is up today. And as of the 2nd of November, we had no forward moving plans. I could not find a suitable apartment. So like we're down to the wire here. Like this is even, I'm crazy, but that's even shorter notice than even I usually function with. And I got into a little spiral where I was like, oh, we're never going to find anything. And everyone I would talk to be like, oh, it's way too late to find anything. That's for 3 days from now. Like, you're never going to find a place. You're never going to find a place, blah, blah, blah. And I know that it's well-intentioned, right? I know that it's a good it's not that people are trying to derail me or make things negative. It's just the program that they're running and they can't stop it from running, right? They just can't stop it from running. And it's the program I was raised in because I was raised in this matrix like everybody else. So when I hear things that sound familiar, I'm like, oh, I know that feeling of like, yeah, doom and gloom. It's never going to work out. I know that feeling. And I have seen people manifest doom and gloom far more readily than they manifest all the good stuff because they're running that program, right? Your thoughts become things. So if you think it's too expensive, then so it is. All universe is ever saying to you is so it is. So if you think it's too expensive, then so it is. If you think it's too difficult, then so it is, right? And that's all she's doing. She's giving you evidence that what your thoughts, the thoughts in your brain are creating a vibrational reality for you. And then you are seeing the results of that being that point of attraction. That's all that's ever happening. This is an energetic game. So therefore, step one is realize what point of attraction you are by taking a look externally and seeing, okay, at this point of attraction, these are the people, places, things, experiences, circumstances I've attracted. And then asking yourself, is this the experiences I'm trying to attract? Do I want to be a vibrational match for these things? If the answer comes back no, then the time comes to shift your vibrational reality to see what we attract from a different point of attraction. It is a game in that way, right? And then we've talked a million times about how do you shift your vibrational reality? First, you neutralize the thoughts that create resistance, meaning when you hear yourself do what I was doing, oh, it's so expensive, we're so screwed. I even would get people involved. I'd say, Danny, come over here, look how screwed we are. And Danny would look and she'd say, yep, we are screwed. Like, what am I doing? I am a literal teacher of manifestation. And I'm acting like an idiot on Airbnb, like saying like, oh, we're screwed. And Danny's out here like, yeah, we're screwed. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, you already know that this is not going anywhere good, but you can't stop yourself because you're a programmed individual, right? So what happens? Because obviously we got an apartment, so I figured it out, right? I cracked the code for myself, right? And it's funny because, and I'm sure you guys have this experience too, but I could be doing it while thinking, I shouldn't be really doing this. Like, I shouldn't be saying this, but here I am saying it anyway, because I just like, I gotta do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just doing it. And so basically I went to sleep one night and Charlie woke me up. She was standing at the foot of my bed growling at me. Like that. And I was like, what? You guys know I hate to be woken up. I hate it. Sometimes she wakes me up when she has to go to the bathroom. So I was like, do you have to go to the bathroom? And if she does, she'll go and she'll scratch at the door. She didn't move. She just looked at me. She was sick of me. Woke me up to tell me she was sick of me. And so I got up with her. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. We were in Connecticut and I went out back. And I was like, all right, we're going into the woods. So I picked up the dog, we went into the woods and I sat on the floor in the woods in the middle of the night, which I don't know if that's like advisable or not, but it worked for me. And I was like, I need to clear this. I need to get this out of my body. I need to like tune into the possibility. I need to feel it in my bones that this possibility to find a place exists and it's out there. And yes, maybe it's expensive for other people because they expect it to be so, but I'm a different creator with a different vibrational alignment. And I've already done so many things that most people think are impossible. So I know, even though they don't see evidence of the impossible, I've seen evidence of the impossible and the abnormal and the exceptions. I've seen it and I've brought it to myself time and time again. So I need to get out of the way and I need to stop accepting the resistant thoughts and I need to shift and I need to become that point of attraction. So I started just slowly picturing the possibility. What does the apartment look like? Where is it? What does it have in it? And I just started getting wild. I want a 2-bedroom. I want a washer dryer in the unit. I want all new stainless steel appliances. I want to be like Midtown, Upper East Side. Like I want a nice neighborhood. I want pools. I want a gym. I want double roof decks. I want the work. It's like, let's hook me up, right? It started out with I'll take anything. And then over time I was like, no, you know what? I won't. I have things I really wanted. If I would have taken anything, I would have booked anything a month ago. Obviously I won't take anything. So let me be honest, right? And then I slowly started peeling away. It's impossible, but it is possible. Somebody's doing it. It has been done. So it's possible, right? Like I know it's possible. And if nobody else has ever done it, one conscious creator is more powerful than 1 million unconscious creators. It just takes one person that has conscious understanding of energy and how to move a system to shift things. You don't need everyone to do it. You just need to turn your shit on and it's going to happen because it's the natural flow of energy and of your life. You are a creator and you are bringing things to you. And universe wants you to select the things that make you feel good and that help you to thrive. When you get on that train, she helps you on that track. When you feel your life is dense and it's difficult and it's heavy, it's because you're on the wrong path. Your life is dense and difficult and heavy because universe is trying to help you out. She's like, yo, slow this train. You're on the wrong track. Stop trying to push on the wrong path. Like the density is serving you. It's teaching you. It's stopping you from going too hard or too fast down the wrong route. You can come in. Thank you. So anyway, so I'm in the woods doing this whole thing, clearing my brain out. And I'm like, all right, well, let's get real specific with the game. Let's get real specific with the game. So I say to universe, like, show me a number. Universe shows me the number 4. Okay. So I'm thinking, what do I do with the number 4? Close my eyes again. Show me another number, 5. Okay. So I walk away, 45, 45, 45. That's playing in my head, 45, 45, 45. And I just start zoning in on that number, right? Not realizing that that number per month would actually be like right in the range of the rent that I was saying I wanted to pay, around $2,000 a month. And let me tell you, $2,000 a month for a fully furnished short-term Airbnb in Manhattan. Go look right now and see the prices. Go look. I challenge you. They're $15,000 a month. So $2,000 each a month. It's literally like asking for snow in June. Like it's a wild fucking move. But I was like, look, let's do it. She showed me 45. So I'm going with 45. I went into my room, I meditated on 45, and I started to feel this buzz of energy that was just like, we are cooking. Like I could feel it. I was buzzing. My body was like screaming. It was vibrating almost that I couldn't even sleep. So I didn't go to sleep. I stayed up and I started doing what I tell you guys to do. I want you guys to know I'm doing these things I teach you. I'm not just teaching them to you and then like being like, well, good luck. I hope that works. It works. I'm watching it work. I'm using evidence. I'm getting evidence here for you guys. But I made these lists. What am I creating? What am I letting go of? What am I, then I journaled what Charlie was doing to me. She woke me up. It was 5:30 a.m. on 11/2/22. I'll tell you about 2/22 in a second too, because it's wild. But I go to sleep finally. I wake up the next morning. I pop open Airbnb. Been on Airbnb for hours at a time every day over the last week. There's a new listing. The listing is a 45 apartment. The cost of the apartment. Click on this thing. Well, what is it? It's a studio. Girl, you ain't heard me. I didn't say nothing about a studio. But everything else was right. It was in a big building. It was with a gym and the roof decks and the lounges and everything. Midtown East, Upper East Side, really nice area, right up against the water. Everything else I asked for was there. So I was like, all right, whatever. Me and Danny are gonna have to live in a studio and try not to kill each other for the next like 2 months. So I write to them. I say, all right, sign me up. Everything looks pretty good. And they confirm, great, you have your studio. Thank you for renting with us. I mind my business. I start getting ready. I get a message back. We made a mistake. The studio is no longer available. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why not? And she's like, I don't know. Like, we thought it was available, but it was just a glitch in the system. It's actually not. Like, we've made an error. All right, what can you do? I was like, oh, I'll just get back in the search. I'll get back on the hunt. Like, you know, I'm definitely on the right track, right? This is a lot of stuff lining up for me to be off the wrong track. So I'll just wait. And she writes back, but I have a 2-bedroom apartment. I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah. I was like, how much? She was like, 6,500. And I was like, well, I'll take it if you'll give it to me for 45. And she was like, okay. I was like, okay, now you're talking. So that's how we got into the apartment we shouldn't have at a price that doesn't exist and in a situation that nobody else has. It's because I'm using my own damn techniques at the last dying minute. And they actually work, bro. They work when you release the resistance to the plan, like the plan plans itself. Like, it's out there, it's possible. It's about not only drawing in the results you want, but drawing in the means, drawing in the opportunities, drawing in the answers, asking for universe, calling on universe. I didn't do that. I didn't call on universe until I wrote that message to you guys on the 2nd and was like, yo, actually, like, call on universe, because like you should, you know, like, and I teach this thing. I live and breathe these laws. I listen to them nonstop. I'm thinking about them all the time. And even I have so much difficulty really, like, it's like a stubbornness. Like, I don't want to give into it. Like, I don't want to believe it for some reason. And I deal with it too, but I've never seen it not work. You know, even when you think it's not working, it's working even better than you thought it was working. It's really a phenomenal thing. And it's interesting too, because the morning before, or the next morning, while this was all like planning out, actually while this was panning out, right? So I rented the studio and I thought it was rented. And then we went into the city to look at a loft that was available for rent. And it was a really dope loft, but it was a sublease and they weren't able to move until December 1st. And so we needed a place for the next month, but the studio required that we stay for 2 months. So we couldn't, like, we'd already like tried to rent the studio and it was just this whole thing, but we still felt called to look at this apartment. It's in an area called Hudson Yards, which if you've ever come to LA. If you ever come to visit, you must go. It's such a cool neighborhood, man. Cobblestone streets and just like it's a dope neighborhood. It's right near the South Street Seaport, very cool. And so we were in love with the property, in love with the neighborhood, but something didn't quite line up. It was a little far from where we worked. The date that they wanted to move was like a couple weeks off of our date. And it was just like not exactly lined up, but we still loved the area. And like, we're like, oh, what do we do? You know? And actually we were in the amount of time where I could have still canceled the studio. So I was like, oh, well, you know, that's an option if we decide this is the place. We walked around a little bit. We sat outside. We sat at a coffee shop and we were like, I was saying to Danny, I said out loud to Danny, like, we need a sign. And she's like, yeah, we need a sign. If this is the place we should move and we should leave the other spot, then we need a sign. And I was like, okay, yeah, good. Everyone's on the same page. Give us some kind of sign. So I went in and I got a matcha and I sat back down next to Danny and I looked up and right in front of us was 222 and like these really big numbers. And Danny was like, oh, wow, like a sign like that, like it's like a confirmation sign, like maybe this is the place we should live. And I was like, 222 is the address of the other apartment, which is wild because I manifested the apartment on the 2nd to 11/2/22 and the fucking address of the building is 222 and like the sign that was like, wait, that building is going to be it. It's not going to be a studio. It's going to be a two bedroom and 222. Like it's coming. Just calm down. Like, so we walked away from the building and I told the girl, you know, hey, it's not going to work for us. Like, we really appreciate it. And then this whole other thing unraveled and we had our 2-bedroom and everything went as it should. But sometimes the signs have to be creatively. I was talking to somebody about this too. They were like, what if I'm misreading the universe's signs? And it's important that you remember the sign is the first feeling it puts in your body, even if it's not what the number 2 means. If you saw it and you felt like the second I saw the number, I saw the other apartment. So like, that's what it means. It doesn't matter what 2 means. It doesn't matter if seeing an angel number confirms this moment. It doesn't matter because it's showing you what it's confirming. Like, it's important that you don't overthink it. Universe is speaking to you in a language you understand. So maybe, you know, the color brown means something to you that it doesn't mean to somebody else. So it doesn't matter what brown means objectively. It matters what brown makes you feel. You understand? So like, there has to be some understanding of your personal relationship with universe. And yes, a guide or somebody else can help broaden that perspective or say, oh, also it could mean this or that. Yes. But ultimately, like, the answer is the language that you speak to universe and that universe speaks to you is very personal. And it was written between you both in a way that the only problem is you get in the way of the messages by doubting that you understand the message, by seeking constant translation of the message. You got the message, you know what it is. Yeah, when you felt that rush of yes, that was the message. Stop. Full stop on everything else. What about this? What about money? What about that? What about me? What about you? No, you got the message. The message is that. I didn't say, but that place is the studio. Why is it leading me there? Girl, you wanted a message, you got it. Shut up. You know, like, now wait, let us work. Let us do what we're doing. Let us work with you. Let us work for you. Stop offering resistant vibrations. Every time you question her, what about the price? What about the size? What about this? It's not in there. It's not. She's like, you want a message or not? You know, like, you are, every one of those moments is resistance, is offering a vibration that's counter to the vibration that brings you everything you want. And the vibration that brings you everything you want is yes. Yes, yes, it's ease, it's joy, it's peace, it's flow, it's open arms, it's open connection, not just letting financial abundance and money flow to you, but letting people and connections and circumstances and signs and all the things you need that create the momentum that bring you to the place. The arms need to be open to accept them. You need to say yes, and you need to stop questioning the yes. Yeah. I've come to find that we are afraid of the fuck yeah, because that vibration in my body, that excitement, that feeling I have right now, this excitement that I've done it, I've created it, I've walked into it. As I am now, I didn't become a stockbroker or make $1 million more. I just, as I am now, as an artist, I walked into a situation that most people would tell you is impossible to walk into. And I'm doing it and I'm excited for it. And this scares people because we're afraid that the good feeling and that good joy and that good momentum could be taken from us at some point. What if then we start worrying? What if I lose it? What if I get sick? What if it's a fluke? What if something negative happens? What if? And so we scale back the fuck yeah and say, oh, maybe that was crazy. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe that's not where I'm being called. Maybe this, maybe that. And we offer blockages and resistance, but it's all fear-based. It's all a fear that we aren't grand enough or magnificent enough or smart enough or powerful enough to really take hold of this thing that's calling us. And we have to stop that shit. And we have to stop it now, because the only limits are the limits you're creating. The only blockages are the ones that you're offering. Universe is a flowing river. Don't build a dam. Stop, full stop. Only lean into what feels good, right? Only lean into what is telling you, yes, honey, come this way. But instead, people are like, well, why can't I go that way? What? You're being called this way with open arms. Who cares what's over there? But everybody over there got this. Girl, come on. Like, this is where you're called. Come forward. Come to the calling. Stop, full stop. Stop throwing focus and energy and energy into what are you doing and what are you doing? I honestly think the more I lean into what social media is, I think it was created as a trap by the elite to stop you from being able to focus on your path, to stop you from being able to hear the calling. Every minute you're inundated with what every other calling leads to. And it makes you obsessed with not knowing if you got a good one or if they got a better one, or what if my calling should have been that. You're wasting time. You're wasting time. Your phone is ringing and you're not picking it up. And then when you do pick it up, you say, is this the same call everybody else got? Theirs look better than mine. And that's not the energy of creation. That's not the energy that creates worlds. That's not the energy of source, of God flowing through you. That's the energy of ego and doubt. And that is going to bring you heaviness and resistance. And it's going to bring you to this point over and over where you're just sick of neutralizing your blessings, because that's what you're doing. On one hand saying, I really want these things and I'm worthy of them. And then they come and you say, maybe not. And so everything just levels out at zero till your life neutralizes itself. And then what happens? You numb yourself out. Now you don't feel joy the same way you used to. You don't feel disappointment the same way you used to, but you don't feel shit the way you used to. So now what? Now you're becoming an even more powerless being, which means you're getting sucked up into other people's creations. Come on, you were given a life force, you were given a purpose on the planet, and you can answer the call now. You have a responsibility to do it. This is how you manifest. You become a vibrational match. Vision boards, altars, chanting, great. They're all good if they put you in alignment with the thing. If you start doing it and you're like, I don't feel in alignment, full stop, change. That's not working for you. Something will work for you. Right? But you got to find out what it is. You've got to get into alignment. That's all you need to do, right? My favorite way of explaining it is that the universe is a big vending machine for you. Big vending machine. Everything you want, everything you've ever considered is already in the machine. The moment you think the thought, the moment you launch the desire, it manifests itself in your vortex, in your energetic vortex. It's there. Yeah, you thought about $1 million, it's in there. It's sitting at A1. Now you just need to become a vibrational match for A1. That's it. As soon as you do, you'll line up with it and you'll pull the damn thing. That's the whole game. You don't have to worry about how will I get in there? How will I make that much money? Don't worry about it. Worry about becoming a vibrational match for it. So think about, what do I need to feel? Maybe I need to feel abundant. Maybe I need to feel powerful. Maybe I need to stop sitting in lack of I don't have enough, or, stop thinking that this is going to be the thing that saves me, this number or this apartment or this. It's not. It's just a step on the path. It's just something I'm going to use to continue to open myself and continue to lean into flow and to continue to accept source, God, divine's blessings in my life, right? Start becoming a vibrational match and start pulling things out of the vending machine. They're for you. They're out there for you to play with, to use in your experience, to create more ease, not for you to pull $1 million out and say, what if I lose it? Now I don't know what to do with it. I've never had $1 million. People, when I tell them I won money, they tell me, oh, but you only cleared this after taxes. What did you clear? Nothing. Why? Because you won't even put your hand in there and pull it out. Like, you ain't clear nothing. You're not doing anything. You're just complaining. Like, you know, like by the time you've even figured out what I figured out, that half that I cleared, I invested it and made back triple what you would have made, but you didn't do shit because you're busy complaining and you're busy worrying about what you're going to lose. You're always thinking about what you're going to lose. What about what you gain? What about what you're getting? Yo, shift your focus. Stop. You know, the fact is, people as good-hearted as we are, we like to control shit. And people like to control the things that are in their environment, including you. And if you don't set a boundary energetically, they will control you. They are controlling you. They're telling you what to think and what to believe and what limits there are. And in a lot of ways, I'm doing the same thing, you know, right? I'm teaching you what to think and what to believe. And, you know, at this point, it's not about tuning it out completely, but it's deciding what you want to subscribe to. What do you want to be programmed with? What do you want to hear over and over? Where do you want to be led? You know, what do you want to create more of in your life? Is it more limits or is it more limitlessness? And then you need to subscribe with very clear, detailed, and intense focus to things that help you amplify that choice. It's not okay anymore to say, well, I don't want to have limits anymore, but then go out with your friends that only talk limiting shit and sit and talk with them, right? It's not okay for me to say, I don't want to limit my creation and then sit around with my friends and say, there's nowhere for us to live. That's not going to work. It's not going to fly. Universe will be like, all right, bitch, there's nowhere to live. Pitch a tent. She's not going to give me any more than I'm going to give myself because she's working with me and through me, right? So if I decide it's impossible, she'll say, great. I love impossible. That's fun. Live outside. It's nothing to me, you know, whatever you want, you're having. So if you want nowhere to live, then there's nowhere to live. I'll give it right to you. She'd rather I didn't. She'd rather I didn't. But if that's what it takes for me to learn that I'm the creator of this reality, that I'm the creator of this experience, then so she'll teach me the hard way, you know. But I made a decision. I don't want to learn the hard way. I have the information. I'm done learning the hard way. I spent many a year learning the hard way. I'm done with it. I have the information that feels good, that feels different. I'm seeing the results. I'm living a life that looks different. You know, I wouldn't have thought my 15-year-old self that I could live in the city as an artist, as a dancer, as a whatever I'm doing. Like, no one told me that that was a possibility on career day. No one told me that. I didn't know that. It's an impossible experience that I'm living. And I'm watching it become possible through energetic understandings and manipulations. And I'm doing it on the side of the light. We've talked about this before. Yes, a lot of people are creating with the energy of darkness because the energy of darkness is powerful too. I'm not saying it isn't. If I leaned into darkness, I could probably create a lot more 3D things a lot faster. It's true because darkness has a lot of momentum and darkness has a lot of support, right? So it's easier to find people that are programmed into the darkness. Okay. But that's not the choice I'm making. That's not how I want to feel. It's not that it's not valid. It's not that it doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me and it's not my choice. It's as simple as that. So what should I do with it? I should just withdraw my attention from it. I should stop looking at it. I don't care where the darkness is successful. It's irrelevant to me. It's not what I'm doing. I care where the light is successful. That's what I need to see more of. I need evidence of that so I can become successful in the light. And then the light will naturally combat the darkness. If you light a candle in the dark, you don't have to coach it to light up the room. It does it, right? Like you don't need to explain to the darkness, okay, well, this is why you're bad. I don't need to say shit. I just need to light up. That's it. That's going to change it. I have to trust that. And so do you, you know, getting into situations where we want to argue and fight the things that don't work and that are evil, that are dark, too much only drains us of the power to turn on the light. And then what? Then we can't create. Then we become reflections of the darkness. You're going to become a reflection of whatever you're focusing on. So if it's poor me, people don't treat me well, people don't love me, I don't look good, I don't have enough talent, I'm not good enough, So it is. You're going to attract partners that treat you that way. Your family is going to treat you that way. Your friends are going to treat you that way. Your coworkers are going to treat you that way, because universe is going to show you this thing over and over, not to punish you, but to wake you up, to shake you and be like, yo, if you turn the lights out, it's going to be dark. If you turn them on, it's going to be light. You control the switch. So change it. You know what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Does anybody have a question for me about manifestation? Or about anything I've said, or about anything in general? You know, you can ask me anything. What if you miss the sign or the message? Do you get it again? Yes. Universe delivers. Universe doesn't give up on you. Universe doesn't decide, oh, well, as long as you have breath in your lungs, it means universe has bet on you for another day. It means God has bet on you another day and said, look, 24 more hours, go again, try again. You have the force, right? You're given this life force. This is a gift. This is a blessing, and it's limited in its time. So each day you're given that breath, that's God saying, we're going to try again, baby. Like, get out of the way of it, recalibrate it. If you felt you missed something or you're missing something, listen to the signs that are leading you to clear yourself. Go to nature, go to people that lift you up, go to yourself, clear out those cobwebs, journal, meditate, read, cry, do anything it takes to recalibrate, but come back and try again, you know? And the thing is, the same message will be delivered over and over again, and the same lesson will be taught over and over again until it's received, because universe is patient with you. Universe loves you, right? We say love is patient, love is kind. God is love. So God is those things that's waiting on you, right? And it's rooting for you, and it's leading you in such a way that even the hard things, even the difficult hand, is trying to teach you something about your nature as a light being and as a creator on this planet. The only thing that is a problem is that you don't believe that, and you don't trust it, and you're not moving like that's true. You're moving like it's true that you're a waste and you don't have the answers, and you know, well, you're not that special and nobody cares about you. And so it is. But again, that has to change with you, and it has to change now. Like, don't let that clock run down. You know, it's just, there's no point. You came here to learn a lesson, and some of us materialized into very difficult experiences. Most of us did. Most of us that have kind souls and soft hearts, we made a decision to materialize into difficult realities, hard ones. And we did it because there's a lot to be learned from difficult circumstances. We can learn faster. We can learn more intensely. And we took on that challenge because we're strong enough to bear it, and because we asked for that experience to teach us these things, to break us open in such a way. And we have a chance, plenty of chances. And the signs will keep coming until you understand them, until you listen. And so now the goal is listen faster. Listen more intently, listen more effectively. How? Break away from your expectations, from your need to control, from your need to doom and gloom and what if and what about and doubt. Break away from those things and replace them. At least first neutralize them, and then replace them with, it's done. What I want is done. It's there for me. Now I just need to get out of the way of it so it can pull itself into the 3D reality, right? The physical reality. Any other questions? How did I know that? Oh, Jenna has a question, but she's live in the studio. We have Jenna. But before we get to that, Katie said, how did you know that when you had a space you liked, but not with the dates that you wanted, that you should wait instead of making it work? It was because we asked for that sign, literally. It was because we were sitting outside and I offered up the contracts, right? And I went through people say it's valuable to make a pro and cons list. Have you heard this? Like a 3D person will say, oh, you can't make a decision, write out your pros and cons. And this is actually a pretty valuable task, but people that are in the 3D don't know why it's valuable, but it is valuable. So that is what I did. I started weighing out my pros and cons. And the value in it is beginning to really separate. Remember, I said we live with contrast, right? So by deciding the things you don't like and deciding the things you do like, that's helping universe calibrate your set of circumstances in such a way that they line up more with the pros than with the cons, right? It's literally like a conversation with anyone, right? If I'm trying to help you make a birthday cake for your birthday, I want to know what flavor, what do we like, what don't we like, what colors do we like, what don't we like. It's going to help me make an order that you're really going to enjoy. You're having this conversation with universe on a daily basis, right? So I did it. I said, pros, I love that space. This neighborhood, the feel in this neighborhood, I'm crazy about it. I love it, right? I love the price. The apartment was like a joke. You don't understand this. The apartments I'm finding and the prices, if you tell someone that that's the case, they're going to be like, in Manhattan, I pay more than that in Brooklyn. Yeah, you do, because you're on the wrong path for creation, bro. Like you're not creating on this wave. Like you just got to get on this wave, you know? But so anyway, I did a list, and then the cons were it's a little far from where we work. The dates don't really line up, whatever, right? It came unfurnished. That was a con for me because I don't want to go into the whole shebang of buying all this furniture and shit. And then I said, great, I've done what I can do. I don't have a clear answer in my brain or in my body. Send me a sign. And then they sent me a sign. I saw the 222, and the 222 gave me the vision immediately of the other apartment. I remembered seeing it on Airbnb listed at that number. And I was like, we're good. You know, we're done. And actually we're living in apartment 4, which is the first number that universe showed me during the meditation. So like, come on, like it's there. It's just, it shows itself to me. That's how I made the decision. Yeah. How do I handle when I feel people close to you are obstacles in your mindset or the direction of your manifestations? This is a good question, right? A lot of us are surrounded by naysayers and negative energy. A lot of us, that is just the nature of it. And it's very difficult because it's often the people we love the most. It might be our parents or our siblings or our friends or our teachers. We love these people and we see their good heart and their good soul. And we know it is not their true nature to act in the way that they're acting, but that their program has become so strong with practice. They've lived their whole lives in this way of can't, won't, what about, what if, and they've done it to the point that now they're experts at it. So they have accepted this truth into their life, and it's the way that they live, and it's everything that they see is a reflection of the validity of this thing. One thing to understand is that when people treat you this way, it's actually their way of showing care for you, because it is true for them beyond a reasonable doubt that negative things happen and that negative things are finding them and that the world is dangerous and it's not helpful and it's not easy. That is a truth. And it's a truth because they've created it with the subscription to that truth. So they see it and they feel it. And when they try to tell you it, it's because deep down, I believe, they want to shield you from it and stop you from having that outcome that they had that led to this negativity and density, right? So I don't think it comes from a negative place. So the first way to like bring love about in your body, right? Because the combat to any of these things, the answer to these things is to find more love, more ease, more positivity in the way that we, you know, deal with people who treat us this way or who talk this way to us or who bring this program to us. And I think it's easier to love and to understand them when we see it that way, right? Like it is true to them that the world is this way. And of course, yes, it is this way, right? If I start thinking this way, then the world will be this way for me too, right? They don't know that the energy is contagious like that. They believe and they've tricked themselves into thinking that their way of seeing reality is the only way of seeing it, and it's the only truth. And they're trying to convey that to you like it is such. What I'm teaching you now is not the only truth. I'm telling you clear, point blank. You can think anything you want and you can have it. Anything. You can think it's doom and gloom. Yeah, it will be. Life will be a real piece of shit. It will. There's no question about it. I'm not saying it won't. If you think a nasty thought, if you get into a nasty habit, your life's gonna be real fucking hard. Life is not just ease and fairies and flowers. It's not. That's an aspect of it that we can choose, right? But people who have chosen the route that is heavy and dense don't like that thought because they don't like the thought that they've created this shit. You know, it sucks. It's heavy. And they don't even consciously reject the thought. They just won't even allow it into the consciousness. This is just life. And when you talk to people who are miserable, that's what they tell you. That's life. Life is just miserable. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just some stupid pawn that got thrown into misery. well, what the fuck are we here for then? Then this is hell, right? Basically, we're living in hell. But then what about the exceptions? What about the people that have joy and good feelings, even when they're going through difficult things? What about them? Why does that happen? Why are we witnessing that? There's no answer to that question when this is just life and life is just garbage and that's it. We're all here for garbage. We're garbage men. They send us into garbage. Everything's garbage. Okay, So what I would say is it's important first to meet people with understanding and to meet people with empathy and be like, yo, as miserable as you're making me, you could never make me as miserable as you're making yourself. So this feeling that you're giving me that is so heavy and dense and difficult, I know that you feel that in your body and you live that every day like a fact, like a law. And I know that the path you're on is only going to get worse. It's only going to get darker because you're going to become better and better at this. You're going to become more of an expert at this. You're going to become, you like that?
Why is my light on? Wow.
You like that one?
I need this.
Are you good?
Okay.
They like that one. They think that was right on. But it's true, right? So if we can come from this place of empathy, of understanding, instead of the selfish place of what are you doing to me? What are you making me feel, right? If we can say, you can mirror something to me, but you can't make me feel anything. Me feeling something is a choice to take that into my body and feel it, right? You can't make me feel it unless I submit my power to you and say, you make me feel how I should feel, right? How you feel, tell me, right? And when I do, if you've ever done a healing with me, the first thing that I do to heal you is I submit my power to you, right? I put my hands underneath yours and I say, I become the receiver. I put my shield down, I put my power down, I put my boundaries down, and I take your energy into my body. That's the only way I can help you because I have to feel it from your perspective. I have to stop. I can't keep trying to calibrate you to my energy, right? Because then I won't really understand where you're coming from and I won't be leading with empathy. I'll be leading with ego to make you like me. I don't want that. I want to understand you first, and then I want to help calibrate you to whatever vibration you're supposed to be at, right? So the first thing I do is lead with that empathy. Like, this is hard. I feel this difficulty in my body. And if it's your energy that's being reflected at me, good Lord, ma'am, you are going to struggle. You are going to suffer. And as somebody that loves you and is aware of what you're about to go through, I am going to do the only thing I can do, which is control me and become an anchor, become a lighthouse. So when that path gets even darker than it is right now, you can see the light. That's all you can do. Become the lighthouse for the people around you because they are going to need it. Yeah, you can't convince them they're wrong or they're crazy or they need to be shifted. You have to wait for things to get so dark that you're the only thing they can see. The lighthouse, the pillar. They will come, right? If you build it, they will come. You have to trust. Stop being so obsessed with their journey that try to change them and judge them and they're wrong and they shouldn't be. Look at what you're doing. You have become ego yourself in sitting in that judgment. And what have you done? You've turned your light down. Now everybody's in the dark. Now you're no use to anyone. And your own life has become a reflection of those truths. Now your life is difficult and sad and miserable. Now what? More suffering, more darkness, no solution. Nothing is done there. And both people do what when this happens? They turn away from each other. So that person that you're trying to convince to change does what? Gets further and further from you, turns further away from you because it's ego that's causing the change. You're making me feel bad, so you have to change. That's never going to work. Never. It's not going to work. It's not the way we impact energy. The solution is difficult. It's not easy, but it is important. It's important that you remember that as difficult as it feels, you control your energy and you control your feelings. Other people can impact it. They can reflect into it, but they cannot control it. You are the controller of you, you and God, you and the divine. This is the only relationship. So if you don't like how something feels or how someone makes you feel, the solution is in the self, not in changing the other, not in impacting or affecting the other. Believe that, start doing it, start applying it, start working it, and watch it change. Once you tune into self and turn your light on, that person will start to shift. They have to. It's law. Not only that person, but all of your circumstances will shift. Everything around you will get a little lighter, get a little easier. And you'll turn that flame up a little more, get a little lighter, get a little easier. And you'll turn that flame up a little more, a little lighter, a little easier. That's it. It's law. It has to happen. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect. It doesn't mean you'll never have difficulty. We want difficulty. We want contrast. We want to lead people, right? The bigger your light gets, the more darkness you attract, right? People that have been in the dark, they come running to the lighthouse, right? They want it. So you'll actually see a lot of evidence of people who are suffering and struggling, but you'll stop taking it in and saying, this person makes me miserable. No, ma'am. No, sir. The only person that makes you miserable is you. These people can reflect misery at you and make you recognize misery or feel it momentarily, but that's it. That's all they can do. You make the decision to eat it, digest it, and hold it in your system. That's you. That's all you, and you have to take that responsibility. You have to trust what I'm saying. You have to believe it as a law, the same way they believe what they believe as law, and you'll see it. You'll see it as evidence in your life. The answer is tune into yourself. Does that make sense? Jen, do you still have a question? What is it?
So if the message, is the message different when you miss a sign and it comes back around until you get it, than when you ignore a sign, you ignore it and you get hit harder? So they're different, right? Like when you miss a sign.
Like if you just happen to miss it?
Yeah, like if you happen to miss it.
All right, this is an interesting question. She's saying like, if you have a sign, if the universe is delivering signs to you and you're missing them just because you're still in the program or you're asleep, versus if you get a sign that you're like ignoring it, right? Do you get hit harder one way or the other? The answer is simple and it's yes. The answer is if you're still sleeping and you're still in the situation where you don't even know that anything is going on, universe is quite patient with you. She gives you a longer thread, a longer tether. My tether with universe is about this big. I do one thing weird and she's like, bam. And I'm like, you know, makes sense, right? With great power comes great responsibility, right? We hear this in like fucking Spider-Man or whatever movie it is. These things come from energetic law. Everything you're watching, everything that's in art is created from energetic law. The more powerful I become, the more conscious I become, the less time I need to accept a sign. And if she knows I saw it and I understood it, she's like, girl, what? Like, you know, she knows I know. She's not stupid. She's the creator of all things, like of worlds. Like she's literally like, okay, you want to ignore me? Make it harder. I'll make it harder for you to ignore me. She's not slapping me to punish me. She's slapping me to say, hello, you know, I know you saw me. Like, this is what we need to do. Let's go, you know, giddy up. In your heart of hearts, you're telling me you want this great thing, you want this great life, and I'm putting it right here for you. So stop ignoring the sign. Like, it's right here. You know, she's just working with you. She, by any means necessary, she's got to reach you, right? She might make you smack your little head into the Starbucks floor if she has to. But you don't want her to have to take it that far. Right? You don't want to have to take it that far. You want to be like, look, I'm with you. I got the sign. I got the message. I love you. But you know, I'm talking to you. You know, it's just, I mean, I delivered that message to you for 2.5 years. I told you when you told me what happened, I was like, I'm surprised it took this long. If someone delivered a message to me for 2.5 years, I don't even know what she would do to me. I don't even know. I don't even know what she would do. But that message must be acknowledged. You got a long tether. I'm always surprised when I start delivering messages and like 6 months later, I'm like, you want to give them a little, you know, just a light, just something, you know, just get them on the path. It's been 6 months since I said that was the thing that they needed. You know, the other thing to think about with universe and how she delivers messages is that universe doesn't give a fuck how you do it. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. Your calling on your life is a core calling. To be more loving, to heal ancestral wounds, to be a teacher or a guide, to connect with other individuals. These are the callings on your life. Your calling is not to be a dentist or to be a dog walker. These are not your callings. These are just methods through which you can live your calling. So the message may change slightly over time. Sometimes people will be like, oh, well, in the past, I felt like universe was telling me to be a dance teacher, and now she's telling me to be a spiritual guide. Like, what's the thing? Girl, at the base of that, it's the same message. It's lead, it's teach, it's guide, it's evolve, it's reach people in a different way. It's the same message, just a different pathway to live the same calling, to live the same path. So don't get so thrown off when she shows you other routes. Yeah, sometimes if you miss a message or you ignore a message, the exact route she was showing you before is no longer available now. But the route she's showing you now is still with the same core need in mind. Like, that's it, you know, if it's to care for the youth or be like, for a lot of my friends actually have the calling to like be part of the next generation, like to work closely with children. That's not a calling on my life. I don't have that calling. I love the kids, trust me, but it's not a calling on my life to be with the kids. I'm here for this generation. I was born literally for like 20 to 40s. That's where we live. It's where we thrive. Probably the rest of my life, I'll coach people like 20 to 50, 20 to 60, like right in the middle. Give me in the middle. Not too early in the life, not too late in the season. Just hit me with the middle ground. That's me. So my friends who have calling on their lives to be around kids will be like, oh, I thought I was supposed to be a school teacher, but then I was like, oh, maybe I should be a nanny. I'm like, it's all the fucking same, bro. Like, who cares? Like, it's with the kids. Teach the kids, do things with the kids. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, just be with the kids. I thought she should be a mom with the kids. Go with the kids. You're with the kids. You know what I mean? It's all the kids. Like, it's the same fucking message. It doesn't matter. Universe doesn't care. She's saying this one or this one or this one or this one. Any of these will work. And you're going like this. I don't know which one. What about? How come you're showing me so many? How come I have so many choices to live my purpose and be happy? Why are there so many things? Girl, what's this attitude? Like, pick one. You know, learn the calling and then pick one. Pick a pathway, any pathway, pick a pathway, you know, like line yourself up and pick a pathway. If you get on the path and it sucks, make your pros and cons, lean into the contrast and manifest some fucking shit, manifest some changes. That's it. Like, you're the creator of all these things. Like, get out there and create it and stop complaining. Stop looking for the negative, you know? What do you think? She's what? She ate a full breakfast this morning. Oh, because that food's in here. Come here. Come say bye to the family and tell them what you manifested today. Did you manifest Boney yesterday?
Yeah. She manifested mac and cheese.
Did you manifest a treat this morning from the front desk? You get everything you want. She's a master manifester.
Look at her face.
This light over her head. So you love everybody.
In English.
Can I have a kiss?
Oh, wow. Fighting words. Sorry.
Can I have a kiss?
Kiss now.
Give me a kiss. Right this side.
She's in front of the camera.
She always does this to me. Give me a kiss right now. Thank you.
Oh, good girl.
How could you?
She's moving, right? She's smiling.
We love you guys and thank you guys for tuning in. Girl. She's on the dang table now. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm glad we got to have a great chat today. I will be moving the rest of the day, but I will be back soon. November 11th, we have a portal meditate and manifest event where I'll just need you guys. I'll write a little thing for you so you know. Can you like genuinely? Charlie. Not her just sitting like that on the conference table. This dog is not like, I don't know, that's not normal. Anyway, 11/11, we have a meditate and manifest. We'll do like a nice meditation. I'll take you through a manifestation, exercise, all that kind of stuff. And we'll harness some portal energy. It's at 11 a.m. EST. So it's early if you're on the West Coast, sorry. But I have an evening session here live in New York as well. So if you want to be there, we're going to do it live in person at 7:30 p.m. on 11/11 as well. And if you can't be there with us, I'll post the replay. That's why I wanted to do it earlier in the day. That way you can watch the replay throughout the day and kind of use the energy. But the energy is building now. So, you know, get in alignment with it, you know, get out of the way of it, really, more than anything else. And this month I will be uploading tutorials for those of you guys in the higher tiers. They're coming. And that's it. I mean, that's all the exciting news for today. So love you guys. Have a great weekend and I'll see you soon.